open forum for any questions, clarifications that you may have. So I hope everyone's back. So we will now proceed with our discussion on the senior high school template. Claro? Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the government senior high school profile form for school year 2020-2021. So what will be presented here will be the changes in the school form. So what were removed, we have several items here or tables. This comprises the data elements for learners data for 2020-2021. Again, if they are found in the LIS, the data is already there, so we'll be using the data in the LIS instead of encoding again in the BEIS. So specifically, learners data for school year 2020-2021, the age profile, the repeaters age profile, the learners by track, and learners in TVL track specialization. Okay. And to be added in the LIS database, we have here table 1, learners by track for school year 2020-21 as October 31. So included here now is for the arts and design strands, which were not captured in the LIS database. So for the new entries naman, table 2. So number of functional assistive technology and adaptive devices for learners with disabilities. And another one is table 13, the number of teachers handling TVL track by grade level and sex. Next is table 28, mental health for the months of April 2020 to November 2020. Then box 13, cancer cases for the previous school year, SY 2019-2020. So moving on, what were removed? Grade 12 learners in TVL track. Specializations who took and passed the national certification last 2 years, including as well is learners with disabilities in regular class. So inclusion, that's for the current school year. Then the age profile of learners with disabilities. Additional tables and boxes. Box 17, so okay sa DepEd program. Box 14, adolescent reproductive health for the previous year. Box 23, child protection, covering the previous year. Box 24, child protection, violence against children, again for SY 2019-2020. We also have box 25, child protection, covering bullying for the previous school year 2019-2020, and box 33, Indigenous Peoples Education Program for school year 2020-2021, who as of October 31, 2020, and added data elements. Box 10, school clinic this school year. Again, the cutoff date is as of December 31, 2020. We have another one, box 12 on mental health, previous school year. Box 16, tobacco control, SY 2020-2021, as of December 31. Box 16, national preventive drug education for this school year with a cutoff of December 31, 2020. Oh, di na ako. Okay. Okay, so my apologies, the slides weren't seen earlier. So let me go back briefly now for the removed and additional tables for the senior high school profile. So the major changes will be there were removed the tables and boxes, additional data elements, and new tables. Hold on. Okay. Briefly now, we'll take a pause for some concerns. Okay, so I'm back, and let us go over the tables again. So we have changes in the senior high school profile as well, and these are categorized accordingly. What were removed, what are to be added, actually added already, and what are new. So we have under remove, learners data, age profile, the repeaters age profile, learners by track, and learners in TVL, track specialization. What were added or to be added, but actually are already incorporated in the template learners track. That's table 1. So included now are the arts and design strands, which were not captured in the LIS database. Then we have new tables and boxes. Table 2 for the number of functional assistive technology and adaptive devices for learners with disabilities. We also have table 13, which is on number of teachers handling TVL by grade, level, and sex. And table 28, mental health for the months of April 2020 to November 2020. And additional is box 13, cancer cases covering the previous school year. What else? So for those that were removed or deleted, grade 12 learners in TVL track specializations who took and passed the national certification last school year. Then learners with disabilities in regular class. Then age profile of learners with disabilities. For the new tables and boxes, box 17 for the program OK sa DepEd, box 14 adolescent reproductive health, previous school year, box 23 child protection, previous year, box 24 child protection, violence against children for the previous school year, box 25 on child protection still, bullying previous school year, and box 33 the iPad program for SY 2020-2021. Additional data elements, box 10 on school clinic, and box 12 mental health previous school year, box 15 tobacco control as of December 31, 2020, box 16 national preventive drug education as of December 31, and box 30 disaster risk reduction and education for the months of June 2019 to May 2020. So there were significant changes in the templates this year. So let's take a look at the different tables, additional and with the modifications. So this is table 1, learners data, as of August 31, 2020. So we have there the total enrollment, the event per track, per grade, and per sex. So learner's age profile, so repeaters, so these were deleted. Then table 4 by track and strand, so taken out as well. And this one, table 5A, PVL, so a lot were taken out. So this one is new, number of functional assistive technology and adaptive devices. By the way, one of the queries, I went through the chat box, and there is one query on who will be signing the document. So below or at the side of each sheet or table, you can see there validated by such and such coordinator. So we have specific tables to be validated by identified coordinators or SDO personnel. I will be giving later on, if we cannot provide you within the day, but definitely by tomorrow, the list of the validators per table so that you will be guided accordingly. So, table 13, number of teachers handling TVL, track by grade level and sex. Okay. Mental health, so this is a new one. So we've also discussed this in the elementary profile and in the junior high school. So the same, only that this time this will be covering our learners in the senior high school as well as school personnel. So adolescent reproductive health, new table, child protection. So child protection table as well. Still on child protection, on IP. So again, if you're not an IP implementer, iPad implementer, then you don't have to answer number 1 question, practically the whole table. If you're a non-implementer, then box 10. So this time covering some changes. So additional entry is number 2 on the availability of a clinic teacher is a teacher designated as such. So that's the change. So this one, so additional, if you can see there in 4B, 4C, this table, so there is a revision, major revision. So the continuation of the previous table. So on mental health, so additional entries. So okay, selected program is a new table. So on specific activities relating to DRM and CCA, so those highlight, that one highlighted in blue is a new entry, National Global Warming and Climate Change Consciousness Week, running from November 19 to 25. So if you have learners who were able to participate in any of these activities, so input the figures. So those are the changes. For senior high school. All the rest of the tables are, as I've mentioned earlier, are common, generic to all levels. So we are done with the presentation of the various templates. So again, if you have any questions on how to fill in, or you have queries on some of the definitions, then please feel free to log in and encode your queries in the chat box so we can take a look at them later on. So with that, we move on to the next discussion. Let's take a look again at this. We have presented this earlier, our timeline, to remind everyone of uh, the period that will be encoding and validating all the schools' uh, reports. So within April, we hope to see everyone finishing their encoding and their submission online. Okay, hold on again. O sige, ikaw makan. Okay. Since we have some concerns to be taken care of, the discussion will be continued by Angel, and he will be tackling the uh, submission of MOVs for the BS validation, and later on, he will be moving on to the discussion on the online data validation process. So Angel will be taking care of the next discussion.
Sige, ma'am. Okay po, good afternoon. Okay po, good afternoon. Narinig po.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Go ahead.
Okay po. I will discuss po on how to join the team. So, the process po sa validation natin, gagamitin po natin na platform ay ang Microsoft Team. So, at this point po, we are expecting that you have already downloaded and have encoded your school profiles. As of now, mayroon na po tayong 41 schools na nag-upload ng school profiles nila sa BEIS. Para po sa iba, Ano po? Okay po. If you needed further information po and instruction on how to upload your school profile, you may check po this link bit.ly/BEIS instruction. So let us now proceed. So as we have said, we will be using po yung Microsoft Teams sa validation natin. So first po, syempre click mo yung Microsoft Team. Tapos pag nakapasok ka na, click mo po ang Join or Create Team. Tapos po, yung screen mo will look like this. Tapos, enter mo lang po yung team code natin. Team code natin is Z3PXW48. Z3PXW48. Tapos po, pag nakapasok ka na o click mo yung mga teams mo. So, mag-a-appear po dyan yung team list mo. Tapos, select mo lang po yung DepEd Division of Leyte, PRU. Okay na po. Tapos po, nakapasok ka na, makikita mo po sa left side mo yung mga corresponding channels po ng different sections who will validate your school profiles. So, nandiyan yung accounting, CID, DRRM, health and nutrition, human resource development, ICT, legal, monitoring and evaluation, personnel, physical facilities, planning, YFD. Tapos po, discuss natin yung validation process. Sa validation po, syempre, you have to upload your files po. So, makikita mo po sa upper portion sa files na tab. Ito po. So, click mo po yan para makapag-upload ng school profile mo so that the different section can validate. Ito po ha, yung files na tab. Tapos po, pag na-click mo po yun, ito po yung lalabas. So, naka-by area po tayo. Tapos, click mo po yung designated area mo. Example po, taga area 1 ka. Click mo po yung BEIS Documents Area 1. Tapos, sa Area 1, for example, ito po yung lalabas. So, as you can see, naka-by municipalities po tayo. So, not by district. So, click mo lang po yung corresponding na municipality mo. Example, you are from Alang-Alang. Click mo ang Alang-Alang, then sa loob po niyan, may two folders po, private and public schools. Kasi yung private schools ay same process din po, yung papasokan nila. So tayo po, click mo lang yung public schools. Tapos po, pag nakapasok ka na, click mo lang po yung upload. Yung nasa taas po. Tapos, click mo yung files. Tapos po, we will just follow the file naming convention found in the BEIS. So, ito po yung file name niya is 2020 underscore LM or GSH SHS private tapos underscore tapos school ID. So, ito po yung gagamitin natin. Tapos po, please take note po na you have to upload only once po to avoid confusion sa mga validators. Kasi pag marami ng files or gumawa ka ng additional file, so mako-confuse sila kung ano yung i-validate nila. So dapat po isa lang. Anyway, makikita mo naman dito yung file name, yung na-upload mo. Kuha po. Tapos po, sa validation process, for example, nakapag-upload ka na. So, meron na po dito nakalagay. For example, 2020 underscore LM underscore 121631. Magpapa-validate ka na. So, ang validation process po, pag clinic mo yung nasa left side, di ba, ito yung mga channel na magbabalidate sa iyo, yung mga section. So, sa general po na channel, makikita dyan yung mga validators link. So, for example, sa planning, sa accounting, sa CID, at sa iba pang mga offices. Tapos, kayo po magpapavalidate, you will stay here po sa waiting room channel. Again po ha, dito po kayo mag-i-stay sa waiting room channel. Tapos po, we have moderator po who will assist you kung saang section ka magpapa-validate. For example po, sabihin niya po dito na Kananga Central School, please proceed to accounting channel. Available na po sila. So, click mo po yung accounting. Papasok ka doon. So, for example, sinabi niyang punta ka sa personnel na channel kasi available sila. For example, pinapasok ka niya sa personal channel. So sa personal po, 5 po silang magbabalidate. So sinabihan kanyang punta ka kay validator 1, available po siya. So i-click mo po yung link niya, yung validator. Yun lang po. Tapos pag natapos ka po, babalik ka po sa waiting room. Tapos pwede mong sabihin dun na sa moderator na tapos ka na sa personnel. Tapos sasabihin niya kung anong next na available na validator. So again po ha, sa waiting room po tayo mag-i-stay. Tapos maghihintay sa instruction ng moderator. The planning and research team po will check if a particular school is already done with the validation. After that po, we will re-upload their school profile to the BEIS and they will be marked as validated po. So, yun po ang process natin sa BEIS validation for this year. Yun lang po. Kuha na po.
Personally, I haven't used that much. It's good for more practice.
Okay po, while waiting po kay Ma'am Nancy, we will accept for any question po regarding sa validation. Okay po, tanong po ni Ma'am Glenda, when po yung validation? Our tentative validation po is on April 20 po till May, till May 31. Some more question po. Okay po, if you have question po regarding sa validation process po. Okay po, Ma'am Charlene, yung link po natin ay, yung team code po natin ay Z3PXW48 po. Oh, Ma'am Chuan pala.
Hello, Sir Angel. Anytime po ba pwede makapag-validate from 8 morning to 4 p.m.? Anytime?
Ma'am, may corresponding ano po tayo, schedule per district.
Okay po, thank you.
Uh, Mag-schedule po tayo per district.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon po, ma'am.
Uh, Sir, kindly write the link for downloading the school profile. Kasi malakas dito yung ulan, sir. Hindi clear dito yung yung voice mo.
Ay, ma'am. Ma'am, maglalagin ka po
Hello.
using school head account. Ma'am.
Sandali lang, sir. School head account ko sa to.
Ma'am, maglalagin ka sa LIS.
Hello. Yes, LIS.
Use your school head account.
Ma'am, maglalagin ka sa LIS using school head account. Tapos, sa username mo po, may drop down po dyan. Click mo po, tapos punta ka sa basic education. Hello, ma'am?
School head profile. Opo, sir. Thank you po, sir.
School head
Thank
account,
you.
ma'am. School head account, tapos punta ka sa BEIS. Oo, tapos sa upload, makikita mo doon yung mga template po.
Okay po, sir. Salamat po.
Ma'am, ma'am, additional instruction po, ma'am. Mag-login ka po dito, ma'am.
Asa ko no daw?
Ma'am, mag-login ka po dito. bit.ly/BEIS instruction po.
Sir, malakas ulan. Hindi klaro.
Ma'am, nakikita mo yung sa screen, ma'am?
Punta ko no, Chi? Nasa screen. Dili klaro.
Tagin nila ito rin soft copy, sir. Tagin nila yan soft copy.
Hello, sir.
Ma'am.
Hello, sir. Brother, give me. Ay. Sir, story yung Oo, ano tayo problema ang ato? Ang katong iyang
Ma'am, for more instruction po, nasa chat pa. Login ka po, ma'am, bit.ly/BEIS instruction. Sir? Sige, sir. Yung question po ni Ma'am Ritzel Garrido, magpapa-validate po muna kami bago mag-upload sa LIS, BIS. Pag-upload lang po sa BIS kasi the central office is monitoring po yung na-upload natin. So if you will not upload po, maybe they will call our attention po na wala pa tayong upload. So mag-upload lang po kayo.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Po, ma'am.
From Lamono National High School po, sir.
Hello po.
Hello, sir.
Hello, ma'am. Go ahead po.
Okay. Na ako'y question, sir, bakay naami transfer out nga student gikan diri sa amo nga pag first 1 month pa lang siya na-enroll diri, nag-transfer na sad siya, sir, dito sa Cebu. Sir? Hello?
Sige, ma'am. Go ahead.
Nag-transfer siya sa Cebu, sir, niya kanang dili nila daw ma-enroll dito. Ako naman ang gi-refer diha sa officer atong mga December man siguro to, January ba to. Ako na siyang gi-refer sa office niya. Nagka-istorya na gid sila sa Cebu sad sa kadtong gitransferan sa bata. Kaya ang ila problema, sir, di daw nila ma-enroll dito. Nya wala man siya na tag diri sa amo nga school, sir, nga kanang wala ban siya na tag diri nga ipa-confirm nga na-out na siya diri. Grade 11 bali siya dito, sir, na-enroll siya diri sa among school. Kaso nibalhin siya after a month. Nya mo to ning request ning tawag diri ang katong iyang karon na school nga iya gitransferan, gi-refer na nako din ha niya. Ang iya gusto ako daw kuan sa iyang update status, ibutang nako siya no longer participating. Ingon man din ha si Ma'am Jocelyn ba to nga dili man na niya nangutana po ko sa among mga kanang LIS coordinators diri sa Palumpon, sir, sa high school. Ingon man sad nga dili man na siya pwede lagi ko kay akong naibawan sa una nga ug imo na siya i-click nakasuway naman gud mi ana nga ang no longer in school unto, sir, pero basin i-click na ko ng no longer participating mahimo siyang drop there sa amo. Nya nag-chat naman sad ang teacher ganina after 3 months nag-chat siya nga until now wa pa gid daw na enroll sa ang bata sa ila. Unsa man kay maayo anang buhaton, sir?
Na ay confirmation sa inyo, ma'am, na pending
Wala,
transfer
sir.
request?
Or BIS.
Wala. If wala, wa pa na i-enroll nila.
For the BIS
O
data
gani,
gathering
sige
camp,
kung ingon niya, sir, nga ma'am dili man pwede, ma'am, nga
we have
magkuang ko diri kay nitawag na sa ko
for
sa
the
division, ma'am, nga
elementary,
hindi
we have the
pwede nga
Portman Elementary
i-confirm
School
na siya din
profile.
nga
Uh,
kaning nga i-confirm na wa man diri ni gawas nga confirmation request na ang katong iya mga manghod sa junior ang iya wa.
Ang maayo na, ma'am, pangayo iyang screenshot na iya gi-enroll.
O iya gitry og enroll ko ma'am, i-try daw ma'am basig naa lang kay wa na click niya karon kuno ni ingon ang ila office ang ilang division po dito sir niingon kuno nga ipa-update ang status niya. Akong gi-check ang iyang update status, mao man lang gyapon nakabutang sir. Regular, irregular, niya kadtong no longer participating ug ako na siyang i-click na mi drop diri sir. Mo nang di gyud ko mo click.
Kasi pag ginklit ni mo ma'am nga no longer participating, dili na ma-enroll sa ila ha.
Mao jud ko ma'am,
Oo.
ma-problema tang duha ma'am na ami drop diri na di po na ma-enroll sa inyo. Ya, nag-eskwela ba gid ang bata, nag-modular ba ang bata. Nya mo nang ningkuan siya sa ako karon sir ning ganina. Mao ganing nawa ko sa karon na noon ang importante na noon. Nawa ko sa kadtong
Wari pa ito ni Reg,
pagpa-validate ba.
wari pa ito ni Reg enroll ma'am kay kung
Uy,
tagin
mao gani
enroll
niya.
ni maapil
Ako
ito
na
na
siya
imo.
gipas good na nako siya diha ni ko answer ni Ma'am Jocelyn niya nagka-istorya man to sila niya. Na okay naman to. Ko ma'am, basta ang akong naibawan ma'am, once i-enroll na ninyo din na officially, mo appear na diri sa amo para i-confirm out nako. Nya wa man jud ako siyang padalhan sa mga screenshots nga walay kanang confirmation button diri nga akong maklik kay wa man siya gi-enroll nila dito. Mo insist man jud sa sir nga naagyud kuno diri sa amo ang diferensya. Ning ko ma'am wa na gyud ko'y mahimo kay daghan na kay ko abot na ko sa among division og patabang niya. Maura mong gyud gihapon ang answer. So nara
Ma'am.
gyud sa inyo ang problema ma'am. Yes
Ma'am
sir.
naa ka LRN sa bata ma'am. I-check ko.
Ako sang i-answer ha.
Sige, i-chat na lang ma'am ha.
Diri, sir. Okay sir.
I-chat na lang ma'am. Thank you.
Okay sir. Sige, thank you sir.
Yung question po ni Ma'am Glenda na during validation, what are the MOVs needed? We will wait po kay Ma'am Nancy regarding this one po. So again po, para po sa nagtatanong on how to download po yung mga BEIS form, correct po yung sabi ni Sir Richard, nasa LIS portal po. So all you have to do po is log in using your school head account. Tapos sa drop down menu po, below your username, select mo lang po yung BEIS. Tapos punta ka sa upload na tab po. Makikita mo doon yung template.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi sir, good afternoon po.
Sir, regarding po sa scheduling po per district po ba or per area?
Tatanungin po namin si Ma'am Nancy.
Okay, sir.
Mag-i-issue po yan ng memo po.
So, yung mga, for example, naka-encode na yung mga school, so pwede na sila mag-upload.
Opo, oo. Upload lang po.
Yung uploading is initial pa lang yun kasi babalidaton pa, sir, di ba?
Opo, sir. Correct po.
Okay, sir. Thank you. From Villaba South po.
Thank you. Sir Kabugos, Yung question mo po, what are the MOBs needed during the online validation? Let's wait po kay Ma'am Nancy regarding this one po. Kay Ma'am Jonalisa Grace Albarida. School head account is still the former school head. Ma'am, chat mo na lang ma'am sa GC po para ma-change po. If you are not a member po sa GC, i-relay mo na lang po sa district mismo po para ma-chat. Sir Danilo Cabardo, pending enrollment po coming from private school sa Tacloban. Wala pong update. Talk with the school pero walang confirmation coming from their end. Siguro sir may unsettled account pa po yan.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Sir, Danilo Cabardo Jr., sir, from Leyte District po.
Okay po, sir. Go ahead,
Sir,
sir.
yung with regards, sir, sa enrollment po, sir, yung grade 3 pupil namin na coming from GA Mundihar, Tacloban City, nakausap ko po yung EBEIS coordinator. Sabi niya po, kakausapin niya po yung director nila only to find out po na wala pong response coming from their end po. Ano po ba pwede namin maging option para ma-enroll talaga siya sa aming system po?
Kasi sir, kailangan mo talaga ng documents niya eh. So if ever may mga unsettled account sila, hindi talaga yan magbibigay yung school. Tapos, pag in-enroll mo yan sa LIS, hindi nila i-confirm yan if ever may mga unsettled account. So I
ano
think
po yung mangyayari, sir, sa
i-ask mo din yung learner ninyo if may sila babayaran pa sa former school. Kasi yun naman talaga yung sa private school na kailangan talaga magbayad.
Ano po yung mangyayari, sir, sa learner in case na hindi po kasi as of now unemployed po yung parents niya tapos wala po silang kakayahang makapagbayad ngayon. So ano pong magiging mangyari sa bata in case na hindi po sila makapagbayad within the school year po?
Temporary enrolled po siya, sir.
Hindi po siya malagyan ng grade sa SF5?
Mabibigyan naman. Kaya lang temporary siya.
Okay po, sir. Maraming salamat po, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello po.
Naan na ang LRN sa bata, sir. Pati yung name na sa chat box.
Sige. Sige, ma'am.
Na ako, sir. Thank you. Thank you kayo.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon.
Hi, ma'am. Good afternoon po.
School head po ng Maabab Elementary School, sir. This
Hi,
is
ma'am.
regarding po sa sa request po namin sa isa naming pending transfer. Yung grade 6 po yung nagdoble po yung pagkaka-enroll niya. We have already requested, submitted the required papers para po hindi na po siya maging tag as pending, pero until po ngayon hindi pa po siya re-remove po sa aming ano.
Enrolled enrolled siya ma'am, na double po?
Nag-send na po kami sir, di ba, ng ano nito, ng kanyang documents po, yung explanation din kung bakit siya nag-double enrollment. Saka ngayon, pending transfer po siya.
Double enrollment tapos pending transfer.
Naka-pending transfer po siya sa amin. Hindi pa po namin siya, although naka-appear na po yung name niya sa list of learners, hindi pa rin po siya kasama sa total number of enrollment namin sa dashboard, sir.
Oo, kasi naka-pending transfer kasi ma'am. Sige ma'am, note ko po.
Oo.
Ma'am,
Nag-send na po kami sir ng needed forms saka needed MOVs para po ma-approve po yung ano namin, yung request. Pero until ngayon po, wala pa pong changes sa LIS namin.
Anong school ka again?
Maabab Elementary School po. 12-11-63, sir.
Sige ma'am, note ko po.
Thank you, sir.
Sige po. Hello po. Ma'am, yung taga Lomono National High School, ma'am, yung bata nyo po is currently enrolled po sa inyo. So meaning hindi pa po siya ini-enroll sa Cebu ba yun? So grade 11 po siya, school year 2020-2021. So meaning po hindi pa siya ini-enroll.
Excuse me, sir.
Ma'am.
Actually, well, mayroon kami, we have the same situation before, yung in-erase up ng other teacher. We have the same issue. Okay nga lang yun sa amin kasi he was a transferee from one of our schools in Leyte 1. Then my error sa side namin na mag-enroll. We have the same scenario. Then what we did is basically we just really raised it up to Ma'am Nancy, and then we made some workarounds just for the child to be enrolled. However, we were not able to enroll him in the first semester. We were able to enroll him in the second semester. Yun yung ginawa namin. Kasi may error talaga sa pag-add namin. Ang error, I don't know what error yung na ng teacher sa pag-enroll sa list. Dati sa amin, pag-enter namin ng transfer date, dun nagpa-pop up yung error. Unable to transfer, student is already enrolled. Yun yung error. So hindi talaga makakapag encode yung Cebu seat from Cebu kasi may error na sila.
Sige ma'am. Anong school ka again, ma'am? Note ko lang po.
Actually, I'm from Juan Vidilantar. So I was just sharing that it really happened.
Okay.
It's really happening na may errors sa pag-i-encode sa list.
Oo po. Oo, ganun talaga.
So ang I don't know if maybe the teacher can suggest to the new teacher nung student na siguro try to enroll na lang on the second semester. Kasi hindi talaga yan magpupush. I already talked to Ma'am Nancy, to another in charge sa division, then it's not really it was not really fixed. So Ma'am Nancy just gave me a workaround. Now, how about do this? Enrolled him on the second semester. Then yun, nag-push through siya.
Yes, ma'am. Opo. Nice suggestion po.
Sige, thank you po sa pagkikinig.
Kay Sir Ryan Breer, hindi pa po ako nakapag-upload ng school profile kasi dalawang school heads pa po yung nakalagay sa sige sir, note ko po, Hugaba National High School. Some more question po? Ma'am Joanne, go ahead po.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, ano lang po, clarification or para maliwanagan ba kami dito, sir? Kasi may case po dito sa amin na grade 8 siya ngayon na enroll.
Yes
Only
po.
to find out, sir, na during his grade 7, nung grade 7 siya, conditionally promoted lang siya, sir. Tapos may isa siyang failed na subject. Tapos hindi yun, sir, yung advisor, sir, hindi niya na bigyan ng remedial class yung estudyante. Kaya nung ma-enroll, sir, nasa grade 8 siya ngayon. Ano bang gagawin namin, sir? Para ay babalik ba siya sa grade 7 or paano sa grade 8 lang gihapon?
Ma'am, pwede daw i-ano nyo lang yung failed niya na subject. Mag-grade 8 siya.
Anon man, sir. Anong gagawin namin, sir?
Total, gani yun, kumbaga,
Kaya mo, sir, yan ang cases ba, sir, andi di haamon, for example, sir, nga, nag-enroll hira for higher level ba, sir, tapos only to find out, nga ira ngayon, sir, kuan, may danira mga hulog nga tagusang subject, tagduhang subject. Di ba, sir, di rin man, sir, pwede mag-proceed in higher level kung may nakita usang nga bagsak, nare-retain talaga hiya current nga year level. Ano ba itong maupay, sir?
basta ma'am, yung failed niya na subject, dapat makuha niya within that year.
Sugad, sir, na naglapos na, sir. Kaya di na pa nga answer 2018.
Ay ma'am, you have to ask the CID. Ma'am, mag-a-ask kayo ng advice sa CID. Hirat
Kanya,
mas
Ma'am
ma'am
Espinosa?
Fe, opo, oo. Haira na itong concern.
Okay, amo, sir, namon kuan ba? May da kasi nga ng mga at iba ba liwat, sir, na expect nga. Pero kunhan niya na la, sir, nga last year la, sir, nga school year, pwede pa, sir,
Oo.
makabot.
Oo.
Kunhan last school year la.
Oo, pero kung maihan na nga ni ma'am, di rin na ito. Oo.
Oo, pero
Ay,
concerned, let's say, kanang
ipaklaro laliwat ng mas CID para sure ka mo. Hira kasi mas ito, person of authority.
sir, usap pa, sir. Ginano, sir, pag wari kasi makabati kanina. Ginano, sir, pag sugan sa during validation na ba? Kain, sir, masakob, sir, kuan na per unit. Sorry, sir, kay mahina ka rin sa signal kanina.
Ma'am, nakikita slide?
Opo, pero diri klaro, sir. Hay na ko siya, sir, masulod.
Wala ito signal adam mo.
Ha?
Sige, ano't imo
Ikang, sir, mapa-validate na ba? Maka-download na? O maka-upload na? Oo. Hay na ko, sir,
It imo it imo siyahan is maga-upload kat imo file.
Opo, mag-upload.
Oo. Nakasulod ka na team ha. Maram ka naman pagsulod
Opo,
team.
opo. Opo.
Oo. Tapos makadi ka file tab tapos i-upload nimo an imo BEIS school profile.
Ha Teams ito, sir?
Oo, Teams. Teams it aton platform.
Tapos amo to, sir, ang code.
Oo, an kanina an code.
Ang Z3.
Opo.
Sige, sir.
So
Tapos,
once nakasakob ka na, i-upload nimo imo file. Tapos by area kita. Tapos masulod
Opo.
kat imo area. Pag sulod nimo imo area by municipality. Masulod
okay.
ka. Tapos select public school.
Public school what, sir?
Oo, tapos upload mo na.
Okay.
Dapat imo file name sugad hadiha.
Opo.
2020_LM_school ID.
2020, ano, sir, ha? 2020 _ Sugad kun junior high, sir, GSP. Oh,
JHS.
JHS.
Oh, I think ano niya ma'am, na automatic ini dito ha system pag download
Okay.
nimo. Oo.
Tapos an kuan, sir, an ID number, school ID.
Apa. So once na-upload mo na ito, mapa-validate ka na. Pag pa-validate, adi ka ma-stay ha waiting room.
Okay, sige, sir.
Waiting room. Tapos mahulat ka let instruction hit moderator kung ano nga section iton available nga magva-validate tayo mo. Anyway, naka-schedule man ka mo. So,
Sige, sir. Oo, sige.
dere
Salamat,
masamo
sir.
kay oo. Sugad lang ma'am.
Sige, thank you, sir.
Oo.
Salamat po.
Ma'am Ferlin Calda. Good afternoon po. When po ang deadline ng MS Teams EBEIS validation? Ma'am, yung tentative schedule po natin for the validation is on April 20 po hanggang May 31. Tapos naka-schedule po tayo per district, per area, per district. So wait na lang po tayo sa schedule. Kay Ma'am Riofa Oronos, regarding po ng MAPI na subject, ask ko lang po if ang paglagay ng grade sa card is as a whole or by area po. Ma'am, I think this question is mas masasagot to ng CID po, ma'am. Ma'am Joanne, okay na po. Ma'am Dorilyn Duwan. Sige ma'am, note ko po yung magpapa-reset ka ng password. Okay po, noted po. Ma'am Maria Lourdes Maure, paano po ang pag-resolve sa enrollment with dispute issue ng learner? This learner is from our school, Bontay ES, at nag-transfer po siya sa Inuragaw ES sa Samar. After po namin i-confirm as transfer out, nakatag na po ang learner na enrollment with dispute. Hindi po namin makontak ang indicated. Ma'am, na-try na po ninyo pag-click sa enrollment with dispute na facility po natin. If ganun pa din po, magsasubmit ka po ng RF po, yung transfer related request pag hindi talaga nasisettle kasi ipapaayos yan sa central office po. From Mahaplag Central School. Mula sa Bayugan ES, dahil po bago ang school head namin, di po ma-access pag-download ang EBEIS form. Parang editing not allowed po. Kailan po ito pwedeng ma-edit? Sige po, noted ko po, ma'am. Ayusin ko po maya. Tapos, try mo na lang ulit, ha? Bayugan ES. Kay Ma'am Juvain Sidilio. Kay Ma'am Sidilio. Sige po, ma'am. Note ko po yung issue ninyo.
Good afternoon. Sir, good afternoon.
Sir, go ahead po, sir.
Sir, bakit po wala po kami sir sa Microsoft Teams yung Santa Fe District po? Sa Area 1 po.
Sa validation na po, sir? Sa BIS?
Yes sir, yes sir. Oh, yes sir. Wala pong Santa Fe.
Sige,
folder.
sir. Sige, sir. Lagyan ko po. Thank you
Okay,
po.
thank you, sir.
Santa Fe. Sige po.
Sir, good afternoon. Sir, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Go ahead po.
Sir, Mahaplag, Pulahongon Central School, Mahaplag 2 District. Sir, nami problema diri sa sa Central. Ang among nag-offer nami sa og SPED school, but it is not recognized in the division office. Wala po siya naka-registered. So, unsa maning among learners? Right now, we have 3 learners, SPED.
Wait. Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, come again, ma'am.
And sa Pulahungan Central School, naami SPED class. But it is not recognized. Wala ni siya ma-recognize diha sa region. Dili sa ni siya registered. Pero,
ma'am, we will follow up po sa M&E about your concern po.
Sige sir, kay ako aning question og i-appeal ba ni namo siya sa LIS kay before mga 4 years o 3 years na ninamo siya sir gibuhat. Time pa ni Ma'am Kutin, paghatag niya diri sa ako og SPED, then na-convert and na upod and Pulahongon sa redistricting, so asya adto nga nagkaada kami hin sped class without registration. Well, diri man ako maaram nga i-registered pa ngayon.
Sige ma'am, we will follow up po your concern sa M&E.
Sige po sir, thank you.
Sige po.
Hello, Chill.
Hello po. Para po sa mga nagtatanong about po sa MOVs, ito po yung submission of MOVs for the BEIS validation. First po is submit by district. Okay po. Schools to prepare one set of documents for submission placed in a folder. Documents should be labeled with the table or box number at the upper right corner of the paper. Tapos, group together documents according to the section, unit, SDO, personnel in charge of validating the data for ease of distributing these to the concerned validators. Submit not later than April 12, 2021. Okay po. Bigay ko na po.
Ikaw, Sarah.
Hi ka, sir. Didi? The note po ninyo, yun po ang submission of MOVs for the BIS validation. Ngayon po, let's welcome po kay Sir Rafi.
Hello, Sir Jel. Sir Angel.
Ah, inintay po natin si Sir Rafi mag-set up po. Hello po, yung mga nagre-request po ng magpa-reset ng school head, pa-email na lang po sa pru.leyte@deped.gov.ph. Baka kasi hindi ko mabasa lahat. For the meantime po, inihintay pa natin mag-set up si Sir Rafi po. Para makapag-discuss po siya. Ma'am Arlene Calasan, di rin po ako nakaka-upload ng file. Ma'am, please try using po Microsoft Edge po na browser. Yun po yung advice po ng Central Office. Ma'am Welma Hervoso, i-enroll po ba sa second SEM ang grade 11 na ALS with waiting A&E result? Ma'am, i-enroll mo po siya, pero itatag mo siya na temporarily enrolled. Kamote Elementary School. Ma'am, note ko po. Ma'am Charlene Morales. Ma'am, chat mo po yung school ID mo para ma-reset. Ma'am Geraldine Padisio. We will provide po, ma'am. Branny Criselda Donaire. Note ko po.
Paano ko mga ganito ka, new folder.
Hello po, sir. Hello po.
New folder.
Hello, sir.
Yes po.
Sir, pwede po magpa-approve din pending request. I-message ko na lang po, sir, itong details itong bata. Kuan po, sir, inin balik-aral.
I-message na lang, sir.
Okay, sige. Thank you, sir.
Ito yung slide deck. Then, slideshow. Okay, good afternoon.
Ano niya? Hindi kasi nagsulit ng niya, nagpotocopy, nagdagdag sa akin. Kahit ako malinis na, siguro pa lang.
Okay. Good afternoon to each and everyone. I'll be presenting the interim guidelines on the preparation, submission, and checking of school forms. In this presentation, we would like the participants to be oriented with the roles they have to play in the implementation of the aforementioned memorandum, as well as to clarify and discuss issues and concerns in the implementation of the said memorandum. So, considering that there has been changes on the way we do our stuff in the new normal, it is also imperative that the way we accomplish certain school forms will also have certain changes. And these changes were made out of consultations made by the key officials in the central office to teachers and school heads. And these changes were made to support the implementation of the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan implementation. So this aims to establish clear guidelines on the preparation, submission, and checking of school forms, particularly only for school year 2020-2021, and to gather more than those data that are important and relevant to the school given the ongoing health crisis. So here are the pertinent provisions of the Ed Memorandum 14 Series 2021. On School Form 1, the school registry, the additional data element for learning modality shall be added in the existing SF1. So the particular learning modality, we are referring here as to the main modality where the learner is. So in our case, majority of our learners probably will be in the print modular distance learning modality. The learning modality shall be updated whenever the learner shifts from one learning modality to another. This gives us an idea that shifting of modality is allowed, provided that the school is offering more than one modality. And that the shift is well guided and is carefully analyzed by the class advisors who are monitoring closely the performance of the learner. At the end of each quarter, the updated modality shall be generated through the LIS as official quarterly enrollment count per modality. So it is also we are given an idea that the number of learners enrolled per modality per quarter may really vary because of this reality that some learners may be having a different modality assignment for every quarter, depending on the assessment of the class advisors or the subject teachers. The age to be recorded in the form is the learner's age by October 31, 2020. So here is how the SF1, the school register, would look like. And we can see the red fonts there, the red word, the learning modality as added column, as well as the age as of October 31. For SF3, books issued and returned. Obviously, many of our schools have not released books. It is presumed na hindi tayo nag-release ng mga books ngayong school year. But in the case na meron pong schools na nag-release, filling up of SF3 is a must. So, books issued and returned. If the school is releasing books and other learning materials to learners, SF3 may be used. So kung hindi po nag-release ng books and wala naman tayong na-release, we will ignore SF3 for now. Hindi siya maaring hindi natin siyang fill upan for this school year. This form can also be utilized to record the distribution of retrieval of learning modules. And in using SF3 for the recording and monitoring of modules, the title of the book shall be replaced by the appropriate reference code or title of the module being issued or distributed. So, this is how the SF3 given this memorandum would now look like. So, option na rin po ninyo yon. Kung last po ang ginagamit nyo, maaaring hindi nyo na rin po ito gamitin kung naggagamit po ang school ng learner activity sheets at hindi naman talaga module yung ginagamit. As to the preparation and submission of school forms, the SF4, the monthly report on learner movement and attendance, instead of a monthly submission to district and division office, the SF4 shall only be submitted quarterly. Uulitin ko po ha, SF4 shall only be submitted quarterly. Another word po, quarterly. Kasi mayroon po kaming mga nare-receive dito sa planning, ha? So, quarterly po ang ating pag-submit ngayon. So, replace the column for dropout. Ito po napakalaga, ha? Replace the column for dropout with no longer participating in learning activities. Ito po yung official natin na pampalit sa term na dropout ngayong new normal. No longer participating in learning activities, NLPA. And how is NLPA determined? How will a learner be considered as NLPA? NLPA is a status of learners whose parent or guardian or even the learner himself has failed to communicate or has not made any efforts to contact the class advisor for at least 7, highlight ko po yung word consecutive weeks. Ulitin po, 7 consecutive weeks. What if po hindi walang communication for 3 weeks, tapos sa 4th week nag-communicate, tapos hindi na naman nag-communicate sa 5th and 6th, at sa communicate sa 7, hindi pa siya ikakategorize na NLPA. Kasi ang condition is consecutive. Okay, so I hope klaro po tayo dyan. Additional data fields for mortality and death were also provided. Ito po ang magiging hitsura ng ating SF4, the monthly learners movement and attendance. Nakikita nyo po yung nakapula, no longer participating in learning activities. Okay. SF8, Basic Health and Nutrition Profile. Ayon sa Central Office, hindi naman masyado ito sa high school, pero kung kaya naman ng mga high school mag-fill up, ini-encourage talaga. Ang highly encouraged na makaroon ng entry ngayon dito sa SF8 ay yung mga elementary learners. Parents or guardians may administer the actual measuring of weight and weight and height to compute for the BMI and submit the reading result to the class advisor. Lalo na po yung mga class advisors na may mga GC, sa kanilang mga class sections na hinahandle, this is quite something easy to facilitate. And its absence, pwede naman magpadala ng note on how these things are being computed, or how will the parent be able to determine the weight and the height. Updating of SF8 through LIS facility is highly encouraged for elementary grade levels. Ulitin ko po, highly encouraged. So, again, highly encouraged for elementary grade levels, but not, ito po ha, to emphasize again, but not mandatory, except, ito po yung word na except, for learner recipient of any program promoting health and nutrition. So, I believe meron pa naman pong naka-receive ng feeding funds kahit new normal. So, yung mga learners po na recipient nito should really have an entry for SF8. For SF9, the progress report, we are to indicate in the bottom part of each column the learning modality being adapted in each quarter. So, ito po yung bago sa ating report card. So, kailangan naka-indicate na kung ano yung kanyang modality per quarter. The character traits and core values portions in SF9 are not required to be accomplished. Obviously, mahirap natin itong ma-measure ngayon kasi distance learning tayo. So, ito po yung added column sa ilalim, the learning modality. So, print modular distance learning, digital modular distance learning, yan po ang mga expected na mga responses dyan. Or pwede rin pong magsulat dyan ng online, asynchronous kung meron po yung schools niyo ino-offer na ganyan. Kung supplementary po, hindi po yung supplementary modality ang rini-report ha, kundi yung main modality. Again po, main modality ang ire-report. SF10 permanent record should be prepared at the end of the school year. For grades 5 and 6 who are still using the form 137, SF9 character traits and core values shall be applied. This time on SF2, the daily attendance, meron pong inintroduce sa central office na Learner Attendance Conversion Tool or LACT that can be considered in checking the learner's attendance, which we will show a little later. No? The SF2 that are already prepared by teachers for the first 2 quarters, for quarter 1 and quarter 2, ay hindi na po natin itatouch. Kung ano na po siya, as is lang po siya. Hence, the adoption of LACT is only applicable and should only be used, i-highlight ko po ha, should only be used in quarter 3 and 4. So, mamaya wala pong magtatanong na anong nangyari sa quarter 1 and 2 ha, kasi ito po ay gagamitin lang again for quarter 3 and quarter 4 ng school year 2020-2021. A learner can only be considered dropout, or yung appropriate term natin sa kanya ngayon is no longer participating in learning activities or NLPA if he or she and his or her parent voluntarily withdraw from schooling. Yung mga nagsasabi talagang ayaw na mag-participate sa distance learning. Or, ito po, if he or she incurs absences of more than 20% of the prescribed number of classes or laboratory periods during the school year or semester as prescribed by DO number 8 series of 2015. Reporting of cut-off date for enrollment count as of October 9 will be as of October 9, 2020. Na-discuss na ito kanina. Ito po yung ating LACT number 1. Pwede po tayong mag-count ng attendance ng learner kung present po sila, para po sa online ito, online-based, kung nandyan po sila sa virtual classroom mismo. So, actual recording of the number of classes present and absent by the learner. Para po ito against sa online ha. In short, ang gagamit lang po ng LACT1 ay yung may mga nag-o-offer ng online distance learning modality. So, applicable only to online distance learning modality with daily schedule for online classes. So, kung hindi siya daily, hindi po magagamit ang LACT1. For LACT2, which might be more applicable to most of our schools in Leyte, pwede tayong gumamit ng communication-based. So meaning, has nothing to do with learners' outputs or performance. Ang basis po natin of computing the learners' attendance is the communication we are having with them. Applicable po ito to all kinds of modalities used in distance learning. So nandyan po sa screen ang ating magiging equivalence in class. One contact effort for distribution, lalo na kung kumuha talaga ng module or LAS, equivalent na po siya ng 3 class days. At one contact effort or naka-retrieve ka talaga, no? That's another equivalent of 3 class days. Ito po ay kung weekly ang basis ng pag-determine ng learner's attendance na gusto nyo. Kayo naman po ang magde-decide sa school level nyo kung which is applicable to you or more doable. If the computation will be done on a monthly basis, for contact efforts for distribution is equivalent to 12 class days, and for contact efforts for retrieval will be equivalent for another 12 class days. So nahalata po ninyo, sasabihin nyo, in short sir, 6 class days pala ang prescribed per week. Remember, distance learning naman po ito. Kaya they can consume the weekend, Saturday per se, as counted na school day na nakasali siya sa counting ng ating school calendar as a school day. So 6 class days in a week ang prescribed. Ito medyo a little complicated, but should the school decide to go for this, you can. You can compute the learner's attendance and have this conversion tool using the output-based system, no? So, dito naman, ang bilangan is number ng output versus output na submit versus the required number ng outputs or modules na dapat niyang na-submit. Tapos, i-complete sa targeted number of complete days of attendance. So, applicable only to printed modular and digital modular distance learning modalities. So, dahil linagay dito yung printed modular at saka digital modular, if we are in this kind of modality, this is probably the most fitting to be used because it is imperative naman na teachers are really rigorously monitoring the outputs being received in schools out of what has been provided. So this is doable. So a sample of the computation is provided in the screen. For instance, the number of submitted modules is only 6 and the total number of expected or required modules to be submitted is 9. You divide that, you get 0.67 or 67% submission for the week. You multiply that to the prescribed number of class days in a week, the considered learning days rather, shall we say the learning days in a week, in distance learning, that's 6 days, you get 4.02. Obviously, wala naman decimal na school day. So we get rid of that. We round it up to 4 days present for the week. This is how the SF2 daily attendance report of learners now would look like. You can see on top, meron po doon yung naka-red na sheet, yung learners attendance conversion tool. So kailangan po klaro kung anong LACT ang ginagamit. So kung tatanungin tayo, based sa slides na ito na na-present na galing sa central office, ano ang pinaka-doable sa printed modular distance learning? That would be the LACT number 3. So to summarize the amendments made as prescribed in this DepEd memorandum, in SF1, we have now the addition of the learning modality there, and that the age cutoff was adjusted to August 31, 2020. Di naman siguro ito news sa atin because we had been informed of this even before we started the school year. So for SF2, we have the LACT, the Learner Attendance Conversion Tools, and instead of dropout, we have the no longer participating in learning activities, the in NLPA, instead the replacement for dropout. And enrollment count of is still is up as of October 9, 2020. For SF3, it's only highly encouraged. So, yung SF1 required siya, yung SF2 required, yung SF3 highly encouraged. Pero kung hindi po books ang na-release, ang i-reflect po sa SF3 ay mga modules na gagawan po ng codes or kung may title yung module mismo. Pero kung learner activity sheets naman kayo, siguro hindi nyo na kailangan ito i-fill up. For SF4, required po siya. Ang adjustments made, submission na po niya is quarterly na, hindi po monthly, ha? NLPA, the addition of this, at meron pang added data on mortalities slash death. SF8 is highly encouraged. But kung participants po, may mga learners po na participants sa feeding program, kahit nasa distance learning tayo, it's a must po na may ma-fill upan tayong data for BMI sa SF8. SF9 is a required form. Meron po tayong addition of learning modality sa ilalim po ng grades na column for grades. And again, the logic there is pwede naman po talaga ang learner magkaroon ng different learning modality assignment. Depende rin po sa available modalities na ino-offer ng school. At kung ito po ay nakikitang na must ng class advisor or subject teachers after thorough analysis of learners' performance in a given quarter or month. Character traits and core values portions are not required except for grades 5 and 6 na gumagamit pa ng Form 137. Division level checking of school forms, which is conducted by the Division Checking Committee as stipulated in Section 5, paragraphs A1, B2, and C2 of DepEd Order 11, Series 2018 is hereby suspended. So, ang checking of forms po ngayon na usually ginagawa natin will only be done at the school level by the school checking committee. The school level checking may be conducted through online kung kaya ng school mag-facilitate ng online checking or on-site provided that health and safety protocols are strictly being observed sa school. The result of the checking of forms initiated by the school checking committee is deemed final and can be used by the school to complete its submission in LIS. Okay, let's go now to the frequently asked questions. Angel? Nakikita na siya, no? Okay na. Okay. So here are some of the frequently asked questions which relate in connection to DepEd Memorandum 14 Series 2021, the interim guidelines on the preparation, submission, checking of school forms for school year 2020-2021. Will the same guidelines be applied for the next school year? The answer po is no. DepEd Memorandum 14, Series of 2021 shall only be applicable for SY 2020-2021 unless otherwise the suspension of face-to-face classes is extended. Okay ha? Unless otherwise suspension of face-to-face classes is extended, which we will have to wait for further pronouncements from central office. What if I already filled out the portions of core values and character traits in SF9? Do I still need to revise or redo it? The answer po is no. Leave the filled out core values and character traits as it is. Kumbaga, kayo po naka-start na, nandun na, huwag nyo nang burahin, let it be na lang. Do I need to backtrack my record? Do I need to backtrack my record or attendance of learners and revise my SF2 for the first and second quarter? Ang malaking sagot po is no. You just have to leave it as it is without no further modification. Ang adoption po of the learner attendance conversion tools will only be used in quarters 3 and 4. Okay? So kung meron po kayong strategy na ginawa on computing the attendance prior to quarter 3 and 4, leave it as it is. Okay na po siya. Wala na po tayong i-change doon. We'll only be applying what we are discussing here for quarter 3 and quarter 4. How could I update my my SF8 if I'm not able to meet the learners to measure the BMI? Ito po, tawag nito para-paraan. Parents or guardian may administer the actual measuring. Sasabihin, wala naman yan silang timbangan sa bahay. Baka po sa barangay meron. So, anyway, encourage lang naman po ito. This is highly encouraged na form to be filled out. Kung sa tingin nyo very impossible, you can just forgo this. But again po, may I put an emphasis, pag may learners po tayo, lalo na sa elementary na participants po sila ng feeding program, having this SF8 is really a must. Sa elementary po, the filling up of SF8 is highly encouraged. Ito na yung tanong, am I required to update SF8? Generally, no. The BMI feature in LIS is temporarily relaxed and does not require users to update BMI data. However, for those grade levels in elementary that are beneficiary of health and nutrition support programs, the BMI data may be deemed relevant. To, of course, have a baseline if the program was successful. Teachers are highly encouraged to collect BMI data provided that health and safety protocols are being observed. Lalo na po yung mga teachers na nagkakandak ng home visits, they can incorporate this strategy to come up with the data needed for BMI. What is the age to be recorded in SF1? The age of the learner as of October 31, 2020. What is the reporting cut-off date of enrollment? October 9, 2020. But we partially had talked with Ma'am Nancy. We would be considering, Ma'am Nancy, we will be considering entries other than October 9, di ba, ma'am? Oo, na reporting cut-off date for enrollment. We'll give you an update on this later po, ha? Kaya I know many of you will be asking so many questions about this. Kasi maaring marami pa ang nag-enroll after October 9. Do I still need to accomplish SF3 to monitor distribution of materials? Again po, just like what I said kanina, yung SF3 po, encourage lang ito siya. Pag wala naman pong books na na-release at meron naman pong modules kayo na rin-release, you can instead use the modules ang tinatrack nyo kung nare-return na. Will those who will choose the applicable LACT, teachers and advisors have the freedom to choose the applicable LACT or learner attendance conversion tool in checking the learner's attendance. So, pinakita na po sa kanina yung mga options. Which LACT should I choose? It depends po on the adapted distance learning modality. Again po, during the presentation kanina, nakita naman po kung ano yung mga ideal. Can I use different LACTs in my classes? Yes. As long as the chosen LACT is applicable to your classes. Pwede pong magpapalit-palit yan, but not in the middle. Kung ngayong buwan ito ang ginagamit, for the whole month, ito muna. Huwag magpapalitan something in the middle para pag fill out mo ng column doon sa form sa taas, you will be able to determine kung anong LACT strategy ang ginamit, 1, 2, or 3 ba. When should a student be dropped out of class? Ito po yung mga no longer participating in learning activities, NLPA. If his or her parent voluntarily withdraw from schooling. Ito po yung nag-express talaga ng desire na hindi na magpa-participate sa distance learning. Or ito po, if he or she incurs 7 weeks of non-attendance either in online or non-submission of modules. The keyword po is consecutive. Okay. Or non-submission of modules without communication, contacts, efforts being made by the learner, parent, or to the teacher. In LACT 1, is the student considered present if he or she is able to enter the online learning platform and attend the class for a few minutes due to internet connectivity? Yes. So, okay na rin po yun. Kahit na wala siya somewhere, at least nakapasok siya for a while. Consider na po siya na present. In LACT2, should the learner still... Oh my God. Sandali. In LAC... Angel. Hindi na ako naririnig. Hello, ayan. Okay na. So, ulitin ko yung ano, dito sa number 14. Ayan. Okay. So, let's go. Let's take two. Number in LACT number 2, should the learner still be considered present even if there is a delay of submission of the module? Ang sagot po is yes. Let us always bear in mind na in distance learning po, we have the principle of flexibility. So, kapat po kino-consider ang mga late submissions provided naman na merong pasabi or there is an effort of communication that has been there between you and the learner or the parent or guardian. What communication efforts are considered valid as a form of attendance? Ito po kung gumagamit ng LACT number 2. So, ano ba itong saklaw ng tinatawag na communication efforts? Kung babasahin po natin ang sa kasagutan ni DepEd Central, ito po ay contact communication efforts that may vary depending on the distance learning modality being used in school or applied in school or availed of by the learners. But may include but not limited to. That may include but not limited to electronic and digital forms of communications. You or using a designated drop or pick-up kiosk. Pwede na po yan kung naghulog na doon ng module or output, consider that as a form of communication. So, middleman for printed modules. So, may pasabi sa mga middleman. May phone call kang na-receive. May text messages na na-receive. Mayroong din handheld CB radio, letter correspondence, or attending of classes and meetings, or physical appearance of parents who goes to your school and returns or collects modules. And the advisor within the parameter of the existing local and national health safety protocols IATF for COVID-19. So, maluwag po ang coverage ng communication efforts. So, i-contextualize nyo po siya sa what is deemed applicable sa inyong pong mga school levels kung gagamit po kayo ng LACT number 2. What if there are multiple modalities? Gagawa po ba kayo ng separate na SF2 for each modality? Kung yan po ang convenient sa inyo, you may do so. Is the internal division and district level checking of forms allowed? Ito po lalo na yung district level. Mga district EBEIS, you discourage po muna yan na district level checking of forms kasi ang allowed lang po sa atin ngayon is school level checking of forms. So, definitely, no. Wala po munang division checking of forms, wala din po munang district level checking of forms. Only school level lang po. Is the result of the checking of forms conducted by the school checking committee valid and final? Ang sagot po ay yes. It can be used by the school to complete its submission in LIS. So with these frequently asked questions on the interim guidelines of DepEd and the preparation, submission, and checking of school forms for this school year only, 2020-2021, of DepEd Memorandum Number 14 Series of 2021, we hope na maklaro na po sa atin how we will go about with these forms starting quarters 3 and 4. So, kung may mga katanungan pa po kayo nito, don't you worry. The planning unit will be ready to assist you. Just communicate to us through the district MSs who are connected to us in our group chat or GC. So with this, I'm saying good afternoon, and we shall be moving for another portion of open forum to be facilitated by Angel. Ma'am Nancy. Okay.
Okay, so thank you, Sir Rafi, and Hello, I'm back. So we're nearing the end part of our one-day activity. So let me just go over with you the previous discussion presented by Angel. This is on the submission of the supporting documents or MOVs for the BIS validation. So we are requesting that all schools should submit by district. If possible, we include the secondary schools, the private schools within our district, the SUCs and LUCs as well. Then kindly prepare one set of documents for submission and have this placed in one folder, so that is one folder per school. Then the documents, they should be labeled with a table or box number at the upper right corner of the paper, so that we can easily identify where this will go, who will be taking charge of this document. And further, for ease of distribution or segregation of the documents, please group together the papers in accordance with the section or the unit or the SDO personnel in charge of validating the data. So that it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to arrange them by table or box number. As long as these documents belong to the same group of validators, then put them together, then label them. Then, submit not later than April 19, 2021. Initially, it was April 12, so it should be 19, so that you have several days to prepare this. If you remember, last BIS validation, you prepared several sets of documents. So along those lines will be your MOVs. So slight variation. Within tomorrow or tomorrow morning specifically, I will be will be sharing with you the specific MOVs or documents to be prepared. So I have an initial list now which will guide you in preparing the documents. So this will cover both elementary and secondary schools. It's not yet complete, but I would like you to have an idea right now what are the things that you would be preparing. So bear with me, it's not complete yet, but a preview of this is good. So can you see the list right now? It's in Excel. As I've mentioned earlier, this is for the elementary schools, but it can also be for the secondary schools, considering that several of these tables and boxes are similar. So may mga blanco pa, and I will be giving you the complete list by tomorrow morning. I still have to coordinate further with the program coordinators, the process owners, so that we can give you a comprehensive list. As you can see here, the various tables and boxes, that's column 1. Then who will be validating the specific tables and boxes, and the MOVs to be submitted. So for table 1, learners by program, and the school information sheet, that would be covered by the planning and research section. So it's color coded and grouped accordingly. So table 2, 3, 4, and 5, that is for SPED. So these are the things that you need to prepare. So I won't be mentioning them one by one, but kindly go through the list on table 6. So this will be covered by SPED and HR. It's for the teachers handling learners with disabilities. Then for locally funded teachers, so table 8, no info yet. Table 9. So this is for HR and the division as coordinator. So, if you notice, naka-color ng orange. What does this mean? So, I've placed here care of our Alive coordinator who will provide the validators the list or certification, which means that you don't have to prepare anything. We will be basing, the validators will be basing their decision, let's say, or their validation upon the submission of our Alive coordinator of the certification or the list. So, color coded in orange, you don't have to prepare or submit any attachment anymore. So, table 10 up to 12, this is for HR. So, one of the things that we will be looking at is your inventory of your personnel, which means your PSI, POP. So, teaching personnel, again, your list. So, I'm giving you an advanced idea. It's still vacant. Again, para makaprepare ka mo. So, on teacher assignments, so, your school form 7. This will be our reference. Tapos, teachers who receive training while in service, that's table 13. So it's HR and HRTD are the validators. So the certification from the school head containing names of teachers, then you arrange them by training attended. On table 14 and 15 to be handled by HRTD. So certification as well. Don't worry, you will receive a copy of this. We'll be providing this through the group chats. Table 16, 17, 18, that's under HR. So as you can see here, these are the needed documents. Box 1, so learning action cell. So CID will validate your data, and these are the required documents. We asked them to provide us a list, and these were given. So action research, SEPs for planning and research section. This is what you need to submit. For YFD, they have several requirements. Okay. For SGP, SPG, that's items 1 to 9. For career guidance program, they have 4 requirements. This for table 19, 20, 21, and box 6. This is for our ITO. We will be finalizing this still. Then for MOE allocation, again, you don't have to prepare anything. We will be referring to the data of the SDO, and we will be assuming that since there is already a communication between the division accountant and the school district bookkeepers and disbursing officers, that they have to align or to ensure that the data that will be presented by the schools will be in accordance with the data coming from the SDO. Box 7, 8, and 9, this will be validated by our division engineers. So we'll be checking with them again for their final list of requirements. Then for tables 23, we up to so many tables up to box 22 and table 27. So, sir, I colored this one. So we'll be finalizing this yet with our nurses, because we already informed our medical officer and the nurses that our district nurses should conduct a pre-validation or validation at the district level so that when the data comes in, when the data is uploaded to the system, everything is in order. So we'll see certification from the district nurse that all entries have been reviewed, corrected if needed, and everything is in order. So if you can manage one certification to cover all the tables here, then that would be good to eliminate so many documents. Anyway, there is a provision that some of these tables need not be accomplished because of the absence of face-to-face sessions with our learners. So for child protection, there are 3 tables. So this will be handled by the legal office to be finalized yet. Then school sports program, this will be care of our SDO sports coordinator who is at the same time our DRRM coordinator. So he will be handling sports and DRRM concerns. And we'll be checking with him again what are the final requirements. And finally, box 33, Indigenous Peoples Education Program. This will be through our SDO iPad coordinators. So there is no need to submit any attachment. The certification coming from him will be the reference of our validator. Okay? So rest assured that we'll be giving you a copy of this Azure guide as well as the list of the names of the validators so you can enter them in your forms. So with that, that ends our discussion for the BEIS as well as DM number 14 series of 2021. So if you have questions, but I do believe we have started the open forum earlier. If you have further questions, then we can entertain you. It's 4 actually, but then this is the opportune time for us to present any issues and concerns that we have in relation to the discussions, if there are further concerns. Angel, any issues? Okay, let us see what are these. Such as, sige Angel, let us take a look at what are these concerns kaya.
Ma'am Joanne Abad is asking if it is possible that you can post the table to our group chat.
Which table?
Para maklaro po. Ang kanina nga ni mga
Okay, the
mga
list.
MOVs.
Oh
Opo.
yes. As I've mentioned earlier, we'll be providing you a copy of the list of MOVs together with the validators' names to guide you in preparing the documents as well as who will be validating every table and every box. So as I've promised, that will be tomorrow morning because you need the, you only have a short time to prepare this, so you must have the list immediately.
Another one is from Ma'am Jima Kasamis, an LIS related concern. May da kami grade 11 na waray pa ka-enroll ha LIS kay ALS. Pwede na po ba i-enroll?
Okay, in regards to the our temporarily enrolled learners, di ba, ang mga ALS naton, A&E completer, but who haven't taken the exam yet, the ALS is conducting right now the portfolio evaluation assessment. So that would be in lieu of the A&E exam. So based on the result, then we'll be able to check if dili na hira magiging temporarily enrolled, kundi magiging regular learners na hira. But then, if you remember, there was an issue once, an advisory regarding our ALS learners that I think that was posted last June or July in our group chat on how to treat our learners who came from ALS. So what will happen is they will be accommodated, but you will be tagging them as temporarily enrolled or under temporary enrollment. Then you will be providing a copy of the certification coming from the ALS that this is their status pending the result of the A&E or this time the assessment. So, so that we have a basis for approving your request, we need to have a certification signed by your ALS coordinator. So, we had several learners nakasubmit na aton mga schools and natag na hira temporarily enrolled. So, can we enroll them in the next SEM? I think, yes, we can still enroll them in the next SEM, but they will be tagged as temporarily enrolled again. So, what we need is the certification para ma-enroll hira, but the status is temporary enrollment. So, I hope that answers your query.
Okay, from Ma'am Faith Salome Flores. Is it possible daw to ask through email the updated plantilla from division office?
The PSIPOP is under the HR. So you need to coordinate with the HR on how you will be able to secure. But my suggestion is you have a copy of your last year's PSIPOP, and if you have new items, then you just add muna. Diba? If you have new teachers, you were informed by the HR that you have new items, then pwede mo na ito i-update. So, parang another document ito, parang may inventory ka. But if you wish to secure a copy of your updated PSIPOP, then the best section or unit to approach is the HR. Pwede niyo ito i-course sa UAO so that he or she can coordinate with the HR. Okay.
Ma'am, from Ma'am Emelda Tagulino from Palumpon South Central. Meron po kaming learner na trans-in from foreign country.
Okay.
Grade 6 din yun. She will be transferring out back to her originating school. What to do po?
So, originating school which is abroad. Diba? If you were able to enroll him or her in the system and his or her name is already in your registry and there are no issues, then ma-transfer back to his or her original school. There is a provision in the system, diba, for I think NLS, but it is not NLS now. Learners no longer participating in learning activities. When you click that, there are several options there, reasons. Can you see if you can see there, transferred to school abroad? So that would be your option. So I hope that helped you. Okay, anymore? So somebody is raising his or her hand. So may nakita MS. So sige, is this a ma'am or a sir? Ma'am Glenda Suyo, you're acknowledged. Okay, ma'am, what is your question? Ma'am Suyong?
I have no question po.
Okay.
Wala po akong tanong.
Sige. Any more, Angel? Okay,
No,
there is
no
also
another
one.
question, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay na, ma'am.
I see one who is raising his or her hand. TS. Takuranga ES. So, your question, please.
Ma'am. Hello po, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes,
Ma'am,
sir.
pwede pa mag-accepthin ko ang transfer? Yan na.
Transferred.
Transferred in.
As far as
Ma-transferred
I know, opo, there is no cut-off date for transfers. So, pwede, good thing sana if he or she has his document na para mas madali pag-enroll. But even without a document, that would not prevent us from accepting the learner. So, there is no cut-off date. If you can see in the system as well, it's still open. You can still enroll.
Okay, thank you po, ma'am. Thank you po.
You're welcome.
Ma'am, from Ma'am Anibet.
Yes, ma'am.
Asking about the school site document, same po ba ang interest ng junior high school and senior high school?
Again, please.
She is asking about the school site documents. Same po ba ang interest ng junior and senior high school?
The same document or the same entries?
Same ang entries.
Same ang entries. Since we have two separate reporting forms, one for senior high school and one for junior high school, but we are referring to the same school actually. So, pwede the same entries unless you have a specific area. Your document for junior high and senior high are different. Then, let's say, for land area, then they might differ. Kaya magkaiba ang land area per description in your site ownership. Otherwise, magkakaparehas naman. So, ano pa kaya nga areas ang magkakaada yung difference? One that I can see there is that on the electric bill, di ba? So, usually what happens, I'm not sure if this is the experience of all schools na integrated and junior and senior is for this month, ang magbayad hi junior high school. Next month, ang magbayad ng bill is the senior high school, coming from the senior high school fund. Is that correct? Some are doing that. So, i-average na lang niyo, pira na spend ha, junior high, pira na spend ha, senior high school.
Ma'am, another question from Ma'am Roliza Nabor. Maaskla po kami about amon data Alegria Integrated School, Hulita. Separate na po ba ang among pag-submit documents and MOVs?
Yes. Because iba ang i-prepare ni junior high, iba ang i-prepare ni elementary. So, we don't have a separate document for integrated schools. So, it's either elementary, junior, or senior high school. So, hiwalay-hiwalay. you'll be preparing a separate document, the elementary and the junior high school. So that goes for the other integrated schools.
From Ma'am Jenny Mahadas. Ma'am, with regards po sa senior high, join po ba sila? Example po sa ICT tools and equipment, SF7, etc.
Sa ICT, is there not a set of equipment and mga units that's dedicated to junior high school to senior high school? So, pwede magkaiba-iba ang figures, dida. But then, you can also check with our IT officer in regards to that. We will also be depending on the data coming from them. So you can also coordinate directly to the program coordinators on how you will be inventorying and presenting your data. Okay? So you have direct communication, contacts with our various coordinators. You may ask them as well to assist you in analyzing and identifying analyzing the data to be presented in your template. Okay.
From Ma'am Maria Lourdes Maure. Magpapatulong po sana kami na makontak ang receiving school in Oragyao, ES, Western Samar, para po ma-resolve ang enrollment dispute na nakatagpo sa dati naming learner.
For enrollment disputes, make sure that you have followed the steps provided in resolving issues. Only then and there that we'll be checking with the other school. But you can also contact the school directly. However, if you really have difficulty in coordinating with the school, then that's a time to contact us. But then we request that you provide us the information. So we need the details so that when we communicate with the other divisions, we have the information and complete details. So you can also post that in our GC or through email. But we want to be assured that you have done the steps in resolving the issue at your end muna. If you really cannot solve it, then that's the time that we will be assisting you. Have you followed the steps in resolving the issue? If you've done that, then paki-email and or paki-post sa GC your concern. Okay?
Another question from Sir Dave Singkol. Ma'am, may learner po namo na temporarily enrolled lagi pa grade 11. Napindot la po accidentally han advisor. Ano't bubuhaton po nam?
Okay, I like that statement na pindot la. Did we not take care to ensure that we are pinduting the right buttons? But then, please be extra careful when enrolling our learners, because unless the system provides for undoing all the actions that we have taken there, then as is na ang data, and medyo tedious siya, if we don't have the facility, it will be elevated to the central office. So, dili kita basta-basta magtatag if dili naman talaga ang learner dapat itag as such. But since it's there, so the next step is to solve that. Again, if you remember, nag-post na kami sa GC an aton mga steps to take when you have this concern. And it is also in the manuals, which is in the support tab of the LIS. May nakita dito mga options to take if we have these kinds of issues. So, for that case, na-tag na temporarily enrolled pero di din naman dapat temporary enrollment. So, go submit the appropriate request for correction form, see the documents that you need to attach, then submit to PRU. And this will be elevated to the central office. It might take quite some time, but then let us just follow the process. So download the request for correction form. We have several sheets there. Fill in the appropriate one. Check the note to school below the template and submit all the requirements therein. Okay? So advice lang natin is aton mga nag-enroll assistant to be very extra careful in the tagging. Para dili ka magka-issue kasi at the end, ang problem, ang concern is kamo talaga iton magdadara. Medyo makuri ayad kunwaray naton facility. Okay? So that's not just for you but for all concerned. Hinay-hinayon talaan pag click ang mga buttons na available sa system. Okay, thank you.
This is a follow-up question, ma'am. What about po kung hindi makontak ang indicated number ng receiving score sa LIS?
We can assist you on that. You've tried all means, hindi makontak. We have already issued the format on what to submit the data to us. If it's within the division, then you have access to our group chat. And through sa group chat, it works, di ba? Damo na so, nagpapa-assist to the group chat natin. If it concerns another division, another region, then you can post sa GC pa rin the details. Then we'll pick that up and coordinate with the division or region concerned. So we need the complete information. But you can also do that through email. E-email and details to PRU. Okay.
From Ma'am Liwayway Makatimpag. Good afternoon po, ma'am. Regarding po kanan LACT for the third and fourth quarter, which one po amon i-follow? LACT 2 or LACT 3?
Pardon? Weren't you given an option what to follow, Sir Rafi? No. After the third quarter, third and fourth, as is the first and second. But they have the option of choosing which one or online.
Your communication base, which one is for your output base.
Okay. So if you still have issues on that, let's go over the memorandum, okay, for guidance. So it is, you have the leeway to decide, but that's for Q3 and Q4 only. Q1 and Q2 as is na siya. Okay? Okay, I think we have room for 2 to 3 questions. For those who won't be accommodated anymore, please post them in the group chat. And we can take those up and provide you a document for the FAQs. Okay.
Ma'am, this is with regards to the learner abroad. Follow up lang po regarding trans out to abroad. Kung pwede po ba niyang ipagpatuloy ang modular kahit nasa abroad na siya? Ipapasend lang po daw through email ang module through. Pwede po ba yun?
modular, no? Better contact our CID for that, for arrangements. Sige, noted. Can you post that in the GC so we can track the query? Modular, pero will be leaving for abroad na. Let me check with the CID for such arrangement.
Ay ma'am, di ba ko no, nagrigo doon ang mga school heads, pero ang data needed is as of 2020. For clarification lang po, sino ang signatories to prepare?
So signatories will be the current school head. But the arrangement in the LIS, in the BEIS, since every table and every box has its specific cut-off date, we follow the cut-off date for the data entries. But the signatory for the document will be the current school head na. Di na natin pwede i-backtrack. Kasi if your previous school head is already assigned in a very far school or district, di na natin hahabulon. So current school head will sign, but the entries in the tables and boxes observe the cut-off dates. So extra careful ka mo. There were several movements on or before October 31. That goes for teaching and non-teaching personnel. So you need to have a thorough inventory of your school personnel para ma-identify niyo hinapat iyo ibubutang ha list niyo. Okay, last question.
From Ma'am Jenny. May dehra na enroll pong learner from Region 11. Same kasi ang name ng bata. What to do daw po?
Okay. Caution again, when we enroll our learners, the first we have so many learners nagkakaparehas ang pangalan. Then, marami ring schools na parehas ang pangalan. So, it's difficult really. So, when you enroll learners or even enroll personnel in the system as class advisors and identify schools as the originating schools, always look for the uniqueness of that learner, that school, or that school head. And we are referring, pag learner siya, is the LRN. If the school, it's the school ID. If it's a system admin, a school head, or a class advisor, it's the username. So those are, shall we say, the distinguishing mark. So, since naka-enroll different learner with the same name, I'm assuming na na-confirm na. Pag na-confirm na, then the next step is request for adjustment, editing in the LIS through the use of the specific request for correction form. If hindi pa na-confirm, since coming from another school na, then coordinate with that school and request that them to decline the request. Okay? So it's either of the two. Pag hindi pa na-confirm, request to decline. Pag na-confirm na, mag-submit na ng request for correction form. Again, you can download that from the system and choose the appropriate form to use and submit all the requirements as listed in the note to school and email to PRU. Okay? So, are there any more questions? How many pa?
Last na lang, ma'am.
So, one last.
Sir Richard is asking if available daw po yung video or slides kanina. Pwede daw balikan yun.
Okay, we'll try to provide you the video. Or yes, so that you can review this and probably you will have your own orientation or discussion in your respective schools. So if okay na, then within the day we'll be providing you that. If not naman, then by tomorrow morning, together with the list of the MOVs. Okay?
Last na lang, ma'am.
Okay, last one.
Yung LAC2 po for all distance learning modalities, while LACT3 is for printed, modular, digital, modular. Do we get to decide po kung ano pong among preference?
Yes, there is an option there, di ba? Na pwede niyo gamiton. Whichever is appropriate for you. So that you will use that one. Okay. Any more questions? So I think that's the last one. Again, for the queries which we were not able to answer, just we will try to consolidate this and provide you the our responses through a frequently asked questions document, which we will also provide. So with that, we in behalf of the planning and research personnel and the SDO, thank you everyone for attending this activity. Should you have questions and queries, the PRU personnel are always willing and ready to assist you. So kindly chat with us, text us, or call us for your queries. Please be mindful of our due dates. April 19, we would like to see all the documents submitted to the SDO, only one copy. You retain one for your use during the validation if you wish to have a copy. So one copy la, one folder per school by district all together in submission. So thank you again and good afternoon.
Just say something. She's so salty for no reason. What are you doing this in front of the kid? She's a little something. What was it?